Okay, I'm going to work on a set of Evo rods here. I got to rebuild these things. And I'm going to put new bearings in it, new crank pin, and hold the races around and make sure the rods are straight. So that's tonight's project. So I just got done kicking everybody out of here, so it's now 9 o'clock. So I'm back working my normal long ass hours again. I got about 20 hours of sleep yesterday, so I'm still good today, but usually I get kind of weak by this time, but we're good. So first thing I do is make sure our parts are good. So we have two wrist pins here. We got a shovel head one and an Evo one. There's 1 thou difference in size. So when you're checking your fit of your rod, you gotta know which one you got. Now I marked the Evo one with a scratch across there, so I know which one's which. Shovel head doesn't have that mark, see? So when you put the shovel head one in here, down here, see how it rocks side to side quite a bit because it's 1 thou smaller. You put the correct one in there. You hear the clearance? It's almost none. So that's what you want. Nice good fit like that. It's got a little clearance in it, not much. It's a nice race fit as I call it. It's not new, but it's not worn out either. So they fall right through like they're supposed to. That's how I like them anyway. So it's now called a high performance job. Not a lot of braking required. So that's why you got to keep 2 wrist pins laying around. Preferably good ones. That way you know what you got. Okay, I'm going to probably hone these out oversize. So instead of using a bearing kit with standard rollers in it, we'll use cages and I'll just come up with the rollers I need. The crank pin, some gems. I don't know what size it is yet, so that kind of dictates what the bearings are going to be. Most of the times the gems pins are undersized quite a bit to compensate for the bearing clearance. Basically ground in. But they're not always that way. This is a standard 3-hole crank pin. Means you have 3 holes in it. Gem stuff is always marked gems on the end of it, so you know. When you don't see that on the end of it, it's probably not a gems. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and measure it. Well, this one's pretty big, so see 0 over here is standard. So it's already got part of our clearance built in. Over here is your vernier scale. So whichever line lines up, that's a 1/10 of a thou. That's why they got 1 through 9 over here. 0 makes a 10. So you take your number over here and you go around until it lines up. And get the light where I can see it. Yeah, it looks like about 6. Looks like about number 6 lines up best for me. So you check it more in one spot. Make sure it's straight. It's more like 5 right there. You rotate it 90 degrees and check it again in 3 spots, or at least 2 spots. Looks like 6 again. 6. Yeah, more or less 6 again. Okay, so that's 6/10, so it's 4/10 undersized. So that gives us 4/10 clearance with standard bearings, basically. If these were honed to the standard 1 5/8 size, which we don't know that yet. Okay, so we know we're out on that part. So put that in the back of your head, you have to remember those numbers. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and check the rod straightness and see how straight these are. For that, we got to go over here in the rod checker. which is over here. Of course, we got crap everywhere in the way, but it's normal around here. Got crap everywhere. That's how we do it. Someone's been stealing my towels again. Missing a few. Okay. So basically, put the rod on here. It's the expanding mandrel. Close it up. And hold it centered. And we kind of look at it to see what we got for clearances. A lot of lack of room around here. Put our wrist pin in here. Another Evo one. I call that my little doggy. So this is V on the bottom, which goes on the pin, like that. That holds it perpendicular to the rod. And these three titties here should hit the plate flat. If it's cocked like that, the rod's bent one way. If it's cocked like that, it's bent another way. Like that's different. Over here's another way. So you just put it in like that, you slide it in, and you see what the gap is. And that tells you if the rod is straight or not. So I got a slight gap on the top. Take it out, spin it 180. Check it again, see if it repeats. If it doesn't repeat, your accuracy sucks. It means your tools aren't very good. You appear to have a gap on the bottom now. And the gap looks equal on the bottom, which means the rod is bent toward me. The rod's actually bent this way because it's sitting on the top. We got clearance on the two bottom, so it needs to be bent this way just a little bit to make it straight. Okay, go ahead and get the tool. One bending tool. So now what we do, we just bend the rod a little bit. Of course, everything's in my bag still. So you just take this and bend it a little bit. It's a pretty good rod because there's a lot of springiness in it. Bend it back and forth a couple times to let it kind of self-center. You want the rod to be where it wants to be. It has a memory. You got to change the memory or it goes back to where it was. Check it again. A little bit too far. We're only about 10 or 15 thou off, so that's about how much I moved it. So redo it again. This time try to go right in the middle, which should be straight. Yeah. Keep overbending it. Close. Looks very close to me. Don't leave your doggy there too long, it might fall off. So I don't know if you can see in there. Whoop. I don't know if you can see the feet in there, but you can look for a little bit of a gap. It's right on the money right now. You can also rotate it like this and check it like that if you want to. There's lots of different ways of doing it. Okay, so that one's now straight. So now I'm going to do this one here. Same way. A little bit narrower, so it's a little bit harder to hold straight. Now I've remachined all these tools here to make them more accurate. Accurate means they repeat. If your tools do not repeat, there's no accuracy at all. So you have to be able to repeat. That's how you tell if you got good tools. Pretty good. Good. Same deal, you're looking at the gap in there, and if you don't see no gap, it's a good sign. I don't know if that's even focusing in there at all. Probably not focusing very well, but that's what you're looking for. Alright, so there you go. That one was straight. This one here was about 10-15 thou off, so I finally got it back on center. So overall, pretty good rods, and they're both pretty strong. These are stock Evo rods, and Evo rods are usually pretty good material. So these used to be just about as strong as S&S rods were back in the day. So they are very good rods. And it's a good set. Alright, we'll be back.